All right, so it's going to be necessary for you to have the radian measure of some basic angles. So let's get the unit circle going. You could always get to learn this by triangles. I like the circles, so I'm just going to go over it this way, but you need to not have to use your calculator to get answers from unit circle kind of questions. All right, so this is a unit circle, so this goes out to 1, I'm back here to -1, down here to -1. Okay. So sine are the y values of the angle, cosine are the x values of the angle. I think you know that. So this is the angle 0. This is the angle pi over 2. This is the angle pi. And this is the angle 3 pi over 2. And this is the angle 2 pi or 0, right? Okay. So what I'm going to be expecting you to know, if I ask you what is cosine of pi, that's going to be what's the x value at the angle pi. So this ordered pair is -1, 0. So this answer is -1. So if I asked you what the cosine of 3 pi over 2 is, you'd go to the angle 3 pi over 2. This xy point is 0, -1, so that gives me an answer of 0. So just knowing these ordered pairs, right? This is the 0.01. You can find the sine and the cosine of these. So again, so let's just do one more with the sine. So sine of pi over 2 would give you 1. All right. So the other basic angles, and I'm calling them basic because it's not just me, it's all calculus textbooks do the same thing. So the other basics would be the angle pi over 4, which breaks the first quadrant up into quarters. This would be 2 pi over 4. This would be 3 pi over 4. This would be 4 pi over 4, or pi. And this is 5 pi over 4. 6 pi over 4 here, which is 3 pi over 2. And this is 7 pi over 4. And this is 8 pi over 4, which is 2 pi. So the xy points at these are the same. It's broken up into 2. So root 2 over 2 and root 2 over 2. So this xy point is negative in the x direction and positive in the y direction. This xy point is negative in the x direction and negative in the y direction. Again, same xy values. And this one here is positive in the x direction, negative in the y direction. All right, so if I ask you what the cosine of 5 pi over 4 is, I would expect you to know that that's negative root 2 over 2. No decimal calculator answers. Okay, so let's look at the next basic angles, and that would be the pi over 6 guys. So the pi over 6 guys, let me change colors here. So green, so pi over 6 guys stay near the x-axis. So this is 1 pi over 6 away from the x-axis. This is 1 pi over 6 less than pi, so that would be 5 pi over 6. There's pi, so this would be 7 pi over 6. This is 2 pi or 12 pi over 6, so this would be 11 pi over 6. All right, so these pi over 6 terms have two numbers, root 3 over 2 and 1/2. So you know that this is the larger number. Root 3 is bigger than 1, dividing them both by 2. So thinking about what the xy points are, this is large in the x direction, so root 3 over 2, small in the y direction, so positive 1/2. So this is large negative in the x direction and small positive in the y direction. This is large negative in the x direction, small negative in the y direction. And this is large positive in the x direction, small negative in the y direction. So just physically looking at it, I think can be helpful to find out what the xy points are. So thinking about this, if you were to asked to find cosine of 7 pi over 6, you would say that's negative root 3 over 2, because at the angle 7 pi over 6, that's the x value. Over 2. Okay, so one last one. So it's time to do the pi over 3 basic angle. So this is 1 pi over 3, and not to scale, but this is 2 pi over 3, and this is like saying 3 pi over 3. So it's breaking the 0 to pi up into thirds. 1 pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, pi. So then this would be 4 pi over 3, 5 pi over 3, and then 6 pi over 3, which is 2 pi. So the pi over 3 uses the same two numbers. So it can be useful to just look and physically see where this point is. So it's small in the x direction and it's large in the y direction, and they're both positive. This one here, small negative in the x direction, large positive in the y direction. Down here, so small negative, large negative. And this point right here, let me erase this one, get it out of the way. So this here would be a small positive x value and a large negative y value. Phew, all right, that is your unit circle. So if you were asked to find the sine of 4 pi over 3, we go to the angle of 4 pi over 3 and look at the y value, so that would be negative root 3 over 2. So be able to get these quickly without a calculator so that you don't have decimals in your answers. You need to have this memorized.